And welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be making a pumpkin head with paper mache. I'm really hoping that this fits my head. I think it will. Hopefully, if not, it'll still be a really cool decoration or something. To do this, I used old clothes to make the shape that I wanted in the plastic bag. And that's what I recommend to use. So use old clothes or pillows, anything bulky to really get the shape that you want, and then use string to tie it together to create the pumpkin shape. Once you're happy with the shape that you've made for your pumpkin, you can start getting ready your paper and glue. I used whatever paper I could get my hands on for the first layer. I used newspaper because I knew I was going to go back over it. I went over it with whatever I could find that was white, so that would be easier for me to paint over, which I think ended up being some envelopes and shopping bags. Your girl doesn't want to use good paper for stuff like this. For a project like this, literally anything works, especially because I don't need it to be perfect because it is a very crafty project, so if it's a little bit weird, I don't mind. I think it's important as an artist to sometimes have a project like that where you can just mess around with it, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and then you can try something new rather than always trying to make it perfect, because it's important to just have fun sometimes. So while the paper mache dries, I decided to sketch out what I would like this pumpkin head to look like, and this is kind of what I came up with. I decided that I wanted to make more things during this project, so I decided to use foam clay for the stem and polymer clay for a little witch's hat that I put on the side of the pumpkin head. Since this was my first time doing this project, I kept the design very simple, but I'm excited to do it again next year with something a little bit more difficult. I decided to use foam clay to make the stem, and I actually found this wire already in my shed, which was really handy. It made shaping the stem so much easier. This was my first time ever using foam clay, and it was not the consistency I thought it was going to be at all. I was expecting it to be way stickier, but it's actually not a sticky medium at all, which is so much nicer than I thought it was going to be. Because it's so lightweight and I also didn't have to bake it with anything, it's definitely something I'm going to use for future projects a lot. Smoothing it out over the tin foil was quite easy, and I didn't have to use anything to stick it onto it, which was also quite good. Foam clay was surprisingly easy to use, and I'm definitely going to use it in the future. I do want to figure out how to do more smaller details with it, so maybe that's something that I have to do after it's dried and maybe engrave it, but we'll see, and I can't wait to practice and try out new things with it. I used one of the tools that I got with my polymer clay to make some grooves in the stem, and I think this added a lot to it. Again, I found the foam clay very forgiving, so I was able to kind of go back over it a little bit if I didn't like what I did. I then added on another little bit to the stem just to make the shape a little bit more interesting. I made this piece the exact same way as I made the first piece. Once I was finished shaping the stem, I took out some polymer clay to start on the witch's hat. It really took a while of just warming it up and kneading it, but once it was all warmed up, it was very easy to use. I then used the tin foil and wire to create the shape of the witch's hat. I actually at first went for a drooping one, and I ended up going for a more straight pointed hat at the end because I think it just went a lot better with the design of my hook. I rolled out the polymer clay, and once I had the shape the tin foil made, I wrapped it up in the polymer clay the best I could. I did have to go over it a few times to smooth it out, but overall it looked pretty good. I don't know if I'd use polymer clay again if I was going to make another witch's hat, because I think it was something that maybe would have been better with a cheaper type of clay. Also polymer clay was quite heavy as well, but I still had a lot of fun using it. I really wanted to just get used to the medium as well, because I have used it before. I've used it to make some necklaces and stuff, but it's not something that I am very comfortable with just yet. was really lucky that I had some orange polymer clay as well, so I was able to decorate the hat with that. I then used a little bit of grey polymer clay for the buckle. And went over the whole thing again with my tools just so I could get the right shape that I'd like with the right creasing and smoothness, which I think I got pretty well. I then rolled out more of the orange polymer clay so that I could make more of a patchy kind of look to this witch's hat, which I thought ended up looking very cute. Overall, I'm very happy with how this turned out. The only thing is I would go for a lighter clay next time. Apart from that, I think it's very cute and I really like it. Then I used a heat gun to harden up the polymer clay instead of using an oven. I was also using this heat gun in between the layers of paper mache just to make them dry a little bit quicker. I didn't end up doing it for the first layer and I realised how slowly paper mache actually dries, so I was like, okay, I need to quicken this up a little bit if I want to get it done in time for Halloween. And then it was time to paint the stem of the pumpkin, and honestly I used my good paints to do this and I regret that. Next time I'm definitely going to pick up some poster paint or something for a project like this. I don't know why I did that, it was very silly of me. I then went over the green with some yellow just to give it a little bit more of a shade, although the green that I did use I think was quite nice. It was then time to sketch out the face for my pumpkin, which I did with regular pen. When I'm doing it again, I'm going to make another layer because I don't think this was actually as thick as I thought it was going to be. It still was fine, but I would definitely have a few more layers than what I did. I think I had 3 layers. Next time I'm going to aim for more like 4 or 5 layers, just because it wasn't as sturdy as I thought it would be. At this point I made a really big mistake. I bought some paper mache in the shop and I thought that that would help the structure a little bit, not really thinking I had taken out the clothes already, so it didn't really have anything to hold it up, and I don't know why I didn't think of it, but it ended up getting too heavy and started to kind of collapse in on itself, so that's something that I had to work on. I ended up just taking all of the paper mache back off and putting it in a place where it wasn't too flat, and then let it dry a little bit and then started again when I had a little bit of structure underneath it. As I was working, I didn't actually really notice. I just thought that I had made the pumpkin shape a little bit wonky, but I'm going to just leave the footage in here so you can see how bad it was by the time I noticed that it really needed help. But luckily, like, this project still worked. I didn't lose it. Luckily for me, when I stuffed it back up with old clothes again, it did somewhat keep its shape, so it wasn't so bad. So I just let it dry after stuffing it back up again, and after a week or so decided to try to put more paper mache on it. You'll be glad to know this time it worked because I had a structure underneath the paper. So after finally fixing this structure problem, I was finally able to paint my pumpkin, which was one of my favourite parts. I went over with a very simple orange first. I then put a darker orange in the grooves and lightened up some of the bits just to make it look more shaded. I was having a great time listening to my audiobook at this point. I did again use my Winsor & Newton paints for this, and I don't know why I did that. Next time I'm definitely going to make sure I have enough poster paint because I'm not using my good paints for something like this again. Then it was time to darken the eyes, nose and mouth and start decorating my pumpkin head. I already had a good idea of how I wanted him to look, so it was really just messing around with the stuff so that I could get the look that I wanted, and it didn't take too long, honestly. And of course I used my glue gun to stick everything on there so it was really sturdy and it wasn't going to fall apart. And then all that was left to do was add his teeth and leaves and he was finished. Really hope you like how he turned out. I really had so much fun with this project and it's definitely something that I'd like to do again next year.